प्रोग्रामिंग सीरीज़। सो आज के वीडियो में हम देखने वाले वन ऑफ द मोस्ट यूजफुल पाइथन डाटा टाइप विच इज़ लिस्ट डाटा टाइप. So let's see what is a list. So list is a built-in data type which is used to store the collection of item in the single variable. So using the list we can store the multiple item into the single variable, and each item which is separated by the comma and enclosed with the square bracket. So when we create the list, we add the element which is separated by the comma and we enclose the list with the square bracket, and it used to store the sequence of various data types, which means we can store the different data types into list like integer, float, string, list and tuple. And list is a mutable data type. So mutable, which means we can modify the elements in the list once we create the list, which means list can be modified after the creations, and we can add, remove or the change item in the list after the creation. So that's why list is a mutable data type. So we can perform the operations on the list once it will get created. So that's called the mutable data type. And list is a ordered and sequence of elements, which means we can say list is a ordered data type. So order, which means the elements have a specific order and that maintain the orders in the list, and its mean item have a specific positions or the index. So suppose we have a list and we want to execute that list. When we execute that list, we get the order as it is, whatever the order we pass that list while creating the list. So जब भी हम लिस्ट क्रिएट करेंगे, जो भी ऑर्डर हम एलिमेंट के ऑर्डर पास करेंगे, हम जब प्रोग्राम एग्जीक्यूट करेंगे जो सेम ऑर्डर में हमें प्रोग्राम मिलेगा. सो दैट्स वाई इट्स ऑर्डर डाटा टाइप, एंड that item having the specific position or the index. And suppose when we want to add some element in the list, then it will add at the end of list. So that's why order will get maintained in the list. That's why list is a order data type. And its sequence, lists are the sequence, which meaning we can iterate over them using loop or the comprehension. So that's why it's a sequence data type. So let's see how we can create the list. Suppose I want to create the list which is fruits equal to, as we say, list is enclosed with a square bracket and separated by comma. Suppose I am passing apple, banana, kiwi. I want to get the list. So this is our list. So as we seen, list is a collection of items stored in the single variable. So this is fruits is our variable, and this is a collection of items that we stored in that variable. So that is list. So before implementing other property, let's have a quick review on what's a list indexing. So list indexing always start with 0 and ends with length minus 1, because as we seen that length start from 1 to end and indexing start from 0, which is length minus 1. Suppose I'm passing one list which is list 1 equal to, I'll pass 1, 3, 4, 5 or 7, and when I'll indexing that element, then 1 will be at 0th position, 3 at first position, 4th at second position, 5th at third position, and 7th at fourth position. And when we count the length of this list, then length always start from 1. So when we count the length in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so length which is 5, and when we give the position, so position start, that index start from 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So that's why our indexing start from 0, and length end is a length minus 1, and length always start from 1. And if you want to know more about the indexing, so I have mentioned in the one video which I have mentioned in the description, so where I have explained the indexing in depth, so you will get the idea about the indexing and slicing over there. So go and check it. It will help you to get a more clear idea about indexing and slicing. So now let's see how our list is a mutable data type. So suppose I am giving one list 1 equal to, I am passing some element 1 2 3 4 and 5, a mutable, which means we can change or we can perform any operation in this item when we created the list. Suppose I want add 100 at first position, so I'll pass the list 1, which is first position, and I want to add 100 here, so I'll get 100 here. And now I'm gonna print list 1, which means we can add element in the list after the creation. That's why it's a mutable data type, which means changeable data type. So now we'll see, let's how our list is order data type. Suppose I am passing list 2 here, and I'm giving some like 5 6 4 3 2 elements, and now I'm print the list 2, so I'll execute it, then I'll get the list element with the same order, whatever the order I have given here. So that's why it's a order data type. And suppose I am adding some element in the list. Suppose I want to add list 1 dot, we use append function for add the element in the list. So I'm given a append, and I want to add 500 in this list. So when I add it, and now I'm gonna print, this is our list 2, so I have to pass list 2 here, and I'm gonna print list 2, then it will be add at the end of the list. So this is our order of element which having in our first list 2, and when we add one element, which is it will get added at the end of the list. That's why it's a ordered data type. And we can use a for loop because list is a sequence data type. We can store the element of the various data type in the list, like integer, float, string, list, tuple. Let's see how we can store it. Suppose I want to store Python, I want to store data type string, integer, then I want to store the float element in the single variable as well, and also I want to store the tuple. So I can store it because list allows us to store the element of various data type, and when we print this variable or when we execute this, we'll get all these elements, which is various list. This is our list, so we can use the list to store the elements in the single variable. So that's it for this video. We'll meet in the next video where will see the most useful list functions that it will help you to the interview, as well as your it help you to the get more coding ideas. We'll meet in the next video. Stay tuned. Bye bye.